What's up, you guys? So this is going to be a quick video on how to seal wefts. And I know I already did a video on how to seal your wefts, but that video was using Extensions Plus 101, not Extensions Plus 101, the Extensions Plus Weft Sealing, or a brush on weft sealant. This video is going to be using something a lot less expensive, which is going to be Aleene Stop Fray, which you can get at pretty much any craft store, and Walmart also carries it. Yeah, so let's get started. The items that you're going to need are the Aleene Stop Fray. This is what I use. And Rit black fabric dye, or any powdered fabric dye that you might have. And it's important that it be the powder kind. Comes in a packet, and not the liquid, because the liquid is going to change the viscosity of the product. What I'm also going to be using is another bottle with a finer tip nozzle than the one that comes with the Aleenes. And also, if you don't have another nozzle or another bottle, then that's fine. You just, you can just use an old hair dye bottle that's washed out. But if you don't have another nozzle, then you're gonna wanna, well, then that's fine. You can use this one. I'm using one that has a smaller hole. I don't know if you can see the difference in the hole size. Can't really tell, but the Aleene's hole is actually really big and this one's a lot smaller. So that means less product is gonna come out, which means less likely that you're gonna make a mess. And I'm using a separate bottle because this is full, and when I mix the dye, I want to be able to shake it really good. So it's easier for me to just put some in this bottle and then apply the powder and do it that way. So that's what I'm going to do to start. Transfer about half of this Aleene's into another bottle. And then I'm going to take my Rit dye powder. Be careful with the powder because it's messy. Don't do this wearing light colored clothes. If it gets on your clothes, it's going to stain them. So I'm going to pour some of the dye. See that? Spilled some. And I'm going to cover the tip of this bottle with tissue while I hold it because I don't want to get it on my finger. Shake it up this way first. I'll swirl it around a little bit to get it mixed in. So you can see, and then I'm gonna shake it. As you can see, it's mixed. I'm gonna do the same thing with the remainder. This time I'm gonna need to add more of the dye. So take the top off and get a little oozing out. So I'm just gonna take my tissue and wipe it, and I'm going to squeeze some of it out because it gets stuck in the top. You see how much thicker that stream is? Okay. Looks kind of blue, right? I'm going to add a little more of the dye to make it darker. Another little piece of tissue. Sorry if I'm talking low, I'm getting sick though. My voice is starting to leave me. Okay. That's darker, and it's gonna look like a really dark gray. And now I'm just gonna switch out the nozzles. See, once it sits a while, it gets a little darker. And just in case you're wondering, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the weft once it's dry. You can't even see it. And the reason I do this, adding the black fabric dye, is because Aleene's tends to turn white on the weft when it gets wet. And after you seal the wefts, you're going to also want to wait a good 3 to 5 days before you get the weft wet, because wetting the weft before then is going to lessen the effectiveness of the Aleenes. And as I said, this is a good alternative for the Extensions Plus Weft Sealant or the HE 101, Hair Extensions 101 Weft Sealant, which in my opinion are the two best weft sealants on the market. So this is a good alternative. I would say after those two, this is my third choice. It does work really well. It may require you to reapply after maybe 2 installs. After your second install, you may need to reseal just to tighten it back up. But that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to the actual sealing part. Let's go.
So you're going to need to start off with an old towel or sheet and spread your wefts out, and we're going to apply the adhesive to the very top of the weft where it is sewn. And I'm going to be using the Aleene Stop Fraying that we added the Rit dye to. And I'm going to take my nozzle applicator and just wipe it off on the old towel to clean any residue from it. I'm going to begin applying the Aleenes from one end of the weft, working in small sections all the way to the other end of the weft on one side. I am squeezing very gently on the bottle, and while I squeeze, I'm applying the adhesive to the top of the weft. Now, I'm applying a very, very thin layer of the adhesive to the weft, and then I go back without squeezing the bottle and push and rub the adhesive into the weft, trying to get it between the threads. I'm working in small sections from one end of the weft to the other. And if you are working with a double weft, which is a weft that can be split into 2 thinner wefts, you want to make sure that you also get the area where the 2 thinner wefts meet and are sewn together. In order to do that, I just pull the hair back a little to expose the top of the weft, and then apply some of the adhesive to that area. Using the same method as I used to apply to the top of the weft, I am applying a thin line of the adhesive and then using the nozzle to push it in and rub it in a bit more. You also want to make sure you get the ends of the weft where the weft has either been cut or tied off, and just take the end of the weft and dab a little bit of the Aleene Stop Fraying to the ends. This is what the weft is going to look like once the Aleene Stop Fray has been applied to the weft. It is still wet and it does take a while to dry, so you may want to use a fan to help speed up the drying process. You want to make sure that you apply the sealant from one end of the weft to the other. I like to work on one end, then go to the other end and work my way towards the middle, but feel free to apply it however you see fit. Once it is completely dry, then we're going to flip the weft over and apply the Stop Fraying to the other side of the weft using the same method.